Joke 1. One night, a little girl walks in on her parents having sex. The mother is going up and down on the father, and when she sees her daughter looking at them, she immediately stops. "What are you doing, mommy?" The mother too embarrassed to tell their little girl about sex, so she makes up an answer. "Well, sweetie, sometimes daddy's tummy gets too big, so I have to jump up and down on it to flatten it out." The little girl replies, "Well, mommy, you really shouldn't bother with that." The mother has a confused look on her face. "Why do you say that, sweetheart?" The little girl replies, "Because, mommy, every time you leave in the morning, the lady next door comes over and blows it back up." Joke 2. Divorce judgment. A judge was interviewing a woman regarding her pending divorce and asked, "What are the grounds for your divorce?" She replied, "About 4 acres and a nice little home in the middle of the property with a stream running by." "No," he said. "I mean, what is the foundation of this case?" "It is made of concrete, brick and mortar," she responded. "I mean," he continued, "what are your relations like?" "I have an aunt and uncle living here in town, and so do my husband's parents." He said, "Do you have a real grudge?" "No," she replied, "we have a 2-car carport and have never really needed one." "Please," he tried again, "is there any infidelity in your marriage?" "Yes, both my son and daughter have stereo sets. We don't necessarily like the music, but the answer to your questions is yes." "Mom, does your husband ever beat you up?" "Yes," she responded. "About twice a week, he gets up earlier than I do." Finally, in frustration, the judge asked, "Lady, why do you want a divorce?" "Oh, I don't want a divorce," she replied. "I've never wanted a divorce. My husband does. He said he can't communicate with me." Joke 3. A woman comes home early and finds her husband in bed with a girl. She is furious, threatens to kill them both. The husband says, "Believe me, darling, this is just a misunderstanding. I was driving home and saw this young lady trying to catch a ride, so I decided to give her a lift. I ask her where she needs to go, and she tells me she wants to visit some relatives, but isn't sure about their address. So I took her home so she could check our phone book. Once there, I saw her dress is pretty ragged, so I decided to give her your old dress. Nearly 2 years that it's been hanging in the closet, and you never wore it. Then, I saw her shoes are also about to fall apart, so I gave her your old shoes, which have been doing nothing but collecting dust for 3 years. Of course," she said thanks and then asked, "Excuse me, sir, but is there anything else in this house your wife never uses?" Joke 4. A farmer sold an old horse, but warned the buyer she didn't look too good. The buyer insisted she looked well enough and bought her. A few days later, the buyer came back, complaining the horse kept bumping into things. "The old mare's completely blind," he shouted. "Well, I told you she didn't look too good," the farmer replied. If you like this video, put a like and subscribe to the channel to not miss other jokes.